Hey dudes and dudettes, it is lovely to see you all again. Today we're going to be looking at the rad solo from The Shortest Straw by Metallica. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so we're going to start off by looking at that lick that is before the solo. A pre-solo riff, if you will, starts like this. Let's slow that down. I've got a flat pointer finger covering 7 of the 5th and the 4th string. So I'm going to go from the 5th to the 4th, back to the 5th, and then I play this. So I'm going to play 8 on the 4th string and then hammer on, pull off 7, 8, 7, still on the 4th. Then I'm going to roll back to 7 of the 5th string. Hopefully that's making sense. We're going to do pretty much the same idea, but I'm just going to have a new root note. So I'm going to be starting from 8 of the 5th string, but all of the other notes are going to be the same. So I'm just replacing whenever I had that 7 on the 5th string with 8, and all of the 4th string stays the same. So I'm going to play both of those back to back, and you'll see how similar they are. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I jump to 9 of the 5th string. So we've been working up quite chromatically here. I'm playing 9 of the 5th, and then I'm going to play 7, 9 to 10 on the 4th. At the end of that, I kind of slide into 12 on the 4th and hit it 2 more times when I get there. So I'll play that again a little bit slower. At the end of that, I'm going to play 10, 9, 10 on the 5th, then jump to 12 of the 4th, and then back to 9 of the 5th. That's going to sound like this. Alright, so we'll go through that last little chunk slowly and then have a look at what we've got thus far. Alright, let's see what we've got thus far, and then we'll work on the second half. Okay, so we're going to repeat the first 2 little chunks now. Identical. Now what changes this time? We're going to end that lick a little bit shorter. So we're going to play 9 of the 5th, 7, 9, 10, and then sliding into 12 3 times. Now I'm going to end this lick by playing 10, 9 on the 5th, and then I'm just going to have this descending power chord thing. So all I'm doing there is playing a power chord on 3, 2, and 1 on the 6th string. And then I've got to pull off from 7 to open on the 3rd string with a cheeky dive. And that's pretty much the whole first section. So let's go through that at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll do it again even slower. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the second section. I'm going to start off with a natural harmonic on 4 of the 3rd string. And I'm going to add, I think it's 4 flutters. 1, 2, 3, it's actually 3. 1, 2, 3. There's a bit of a gap between the second and the third, and I've got... So what I'm doing there on the third string is playing 9, 7, and then 14. I've got sort of cheeky little flutters there, and then when I get to 14, give it a cheeky shake. Okay, then after that I work into this phrase. Alright, let's go through that at a gentlemanly pace. We're going to start with 2 leading notes into these little arpeggio ideas. I'm playing 15 of the second into 14 of the first. Then from that point, I'm going to do sort of a little legato roll, playing 17, 15, 14 on the second string, jumping to 15 of the second. That's going to sound like this. So basically we had 1 leading note there, and then as soon as I hit 14 of the first string, we're going to kind of borrow that premise for the other arpeggios. So if we have a look at the next shape, I'm leading from the pointer, and then I've got a rolling legato and ending on the second string. So that second shape I dealt with was playing 12 of the first, and then 15, 14, 12 is rolling legato, and then jumping to 14 of the second. So we'll play those back to back. Now the next 2 shapes are very, very similar to what we've just seen. I'm going to be playing 10 of the first string, and then rolling 14, 12, 10, and then that jumps to 12 of the second. The next shape I do is identical to that as far as the intervals and shapes is concerned. I'm just starting 2 frets back from the 8th fret. So I'm going to play 8, 12, 10, 8, and jump to 10 of the second. So let's have a look at this like little arpeggio idea from the start. We're going to finish that phrase off with some cheeky natural harmonics. I'm going to start from 7 of the first string and play the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string, all with that 7th fret harmonic. To finish that off, I'm going to play a natural on 5 again, so another natural harmonic, and then I just let it ring out. 1, 2, 3. Just 3 extra flutters at the end of that. Okay, that's the whole section. Let's go right back to the start from that 4 harmonic that we had, and then all of those slidey bits. We had the cheeky arpeggios and the harmonic to finish. So let's do this all again relatively slowly, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the third section. We're going to be kind of based around the E minor pentatonic with a couple of cheeky Dorian notes here and there. I'm going to start off with a bend from 14 of the 3rd string, and then I'm going to work into this. Now because this is so fast at full speed, I find it's easier to do an economy pick or a mini sweep to deal with this situation. So after my bend, I've got a flat pointer covering the first 2 strings, and then I'm going to play from 12 of the first to 15 of the second. I'm just rubbing that. It's a really fast triplet there, and I'm pulling off from that 15 to 12 on the second. At the end of that, what I've got here is another bend from 14 of the 3rd string. I play 12 of the second and then pull off from 15. That's going to sound like this. Okay, then I go into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm going to do a pull off from 14 to 12 on the 1st string, and 15 to 12 as a pull off on the 2nd string, and then after that I work into this phrase again. So what I'm doing is I'm bending 14 of the 3rd string, playing 12, and then pulling off from 15. So let's slow that down. Okay, and that's pretty much the whole first bar of this section. Let's do it relatively slowly. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. Then I work into this phrase. Alright, let's slow that down. I'm going to pull off from 14 to 12 on the 2nd string, and then I jump to 15 of the 3rd and then 12 of the 2nd. From that point, I've got rolling legato, playing 15, 14, 12 on the 3rd string and jumping to 14 of the 4th. So it goes at the end of that. That's exactly the same phrase twice. I'm playing 12, 14, 12 as a hammer-on pull-off on the 3rd string, and then jumping to 14 to the 4th. Exactly the same thing twice. At the end of that, cheeky 12 on the 3rd string. So that's going to go like this all together. Let's try the 1st and 2nd bars of this section together at a gentlemanly pace. Then I work into this phrase. So it's just working down a pentatonic, but I'm artificial harmonicking the absolute crap out of it. So what I'm doing here, I'm working down the E minor pentatonic with a couple of outside notes. I'm playing 14, 12 on the 3rd string. I'll just do it as regular notes and we'll add the harmonics later. And then I'm playing 14, 13, 12 on the 4th and 5th string. At the end of that, I want to play 10, 12 on the 5th string. So we've got with the harmonics now. Okay, then from that point, I'm going to add in a slide to 22 of the 2nd string, which will get us ready for section 4. So that's pretty much all of section 3. Let's do that again in the gentleman's pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright, so the majority of section 4 is going to be working down the sort of 16th semi-quavery descending lick just in groups of 4. It's pretty simple as far as the concept goes. A bit of speed to it. I'll shut up and get right to it. We're going to have this phrase. Alright, let's slow that down. I'm going to start from 22 of the 1st string. We're going to work this in groups of 4. I'm going to play 22, 20, 19, and then shift to 17. That's going to be our first group of 4 notes. Then I'm going to play 20, 19, 17, and then a cheeky position shift to 15. So you notice that every 4-note group, I've got 3 notes all in the same position, and then I change on the 4th, and that gets us ready for the next group. So we've got... The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to play 19, 17, 15, 14. At the end of that, there's only 2 notes that we pull off, and I'm going to slide into 19 of the 2nd string. So we're going to have this from the start of the section. Okay, then I work into a new set of descending licks. What I've got there is starting from 19 of the 1st string. So let's take this slowly. I'm going to play 19, 17, 15, 14, again like we had before. Then 17, 15, 14, 12. Then 15, 14, 12, 10. At the end of that, just a 2-note pull-off. So the same as the first section, we had 3 groups of 4 and then a 2-note pull-off. And a slide. 1, 2, 3. 3 groups of 4. Then a 2-note pull-off. Then from there, this one's a little bit different because I've got 2 leading notes. The other one just slid to 19. This one, we're going to play 14 of the 2nd, then 12 of the 1st, and then I have another descending lick. We're working at this phrase. This one actually has 4 groups of 16th or semi-quavered notes. So I'm going to play 15, 14, 12, 10, still on the 1st string, and then I play 14, 12, 10, 8. Then from that point, 12, 10, 8, 7, and then 10, 8, and 2 7s. So we've got... Hopefully that's making sense. Let's go right back to the start of the section. There's one more chunk I want to add, but we'll have a look at what we've got thus far. Okay, then I work into this phrase. Alright, what I've got at the start of that, a slight bend on 10 of the 2nd string and then jumping to 7 of the 1st. And then I've got a pull off from 10 to 7 and 9 to 7, still on the 1st string. And then from that point, a pull off from 10 to 7 on the 2nd. At the end of that, I've got a bend from 10 of the second string, and then I slide off again after a pick into oblivion. And then from that point, I slide into 12 of the fourth, which will get us prepared for the next section. So I'll play that whole last phrase a little bit slower, and then we'll put the whole thing together from the start. All right, let's go right back to the start of the section at a gentleman's pace, and then do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, let's have a look at the fifth section. I'm going to be dragging this swept kind of major third interval from the 11th fret all the way back to first on the third string. So we'll go through that idea really slowly, and it'll make a lot of predictable sense. Playing 11 of the third string into 12 of the fourth, and due to the nature of how fast it works, I tend to find that doing those little economy sweeps helps me. So as I said before, I'm going to work that whole idea back chromatically all the way from 11 to the first fret. When I get to first fret, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to lose that pointer, so I had 1 and 2 there, and then I want to play from open of the third to second of the fourth string. At the end of that, getting a little bluesy now, I'm going to do a pull off from 2 to open on the third string, and then a 2 to open, pull off on the fourth, and then I resolve that to 2 of the fourth. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far. If you don't want to do those mini sweeps, you can potentially do the Greg Howie hammer-ons from nowhere. I just can't do it that accurately. It sounds kind of dumb when I do it. Especially with this amount of distortion, it's totally balls. So after I've got this, I work into this phrase, which is awesome, by the way. Sounds like something's creeping up on you and about to eat you, like the Count from Sesame Street, but more evil. What I've got here is sort of like a major third triad, then a minor third triad, then a major third triad, and a minor third triad. They're just interestingly spaced apart. I think they might be in tritone, so it sounds particularly evil. I'm going to be playing 12, 16 on the 6th string, and then jumping to 14 of the 5th. That's my major triad. And I've got sort of like a B flat minor triad. I'm playing, what have I got here? 13 to 16 on the 5th, and then 15 of the 4th. I'm going to do that whole idea again up the octave. I'm going to play 14, 18 on the 4th, and 16 of the 3rd. And then I want to play from the 3rd string, 15, 18, and then roll to 18 of the 2nd string. That's our minor triad. And then I slide off into oblivion from 15 of the 1st string. Alright, so we've got 4 mini arpeggios and a cheeky slide. At the end of that, chromatic power chords again from the 3rd fret, 3, 2, 1. And that is all of this section. Let's do that again at a gentleman's pace from these swept crazy chromatics into that evil arpeggio at the end. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section. We're going to start off with these delicious arpeggios. Now, if we get that first idea correct, we can carry that sort of concept, counting, and pulse over to the other 3 arpeggios. So there's 4 altogether. I'm going to start off with a pull-off from 9 to 6 on the 1st string, and then I jump to 7 of the 2nd, and that's going to create a major triad for us. I'm going to do that 2 times in a row. And then when I go for my next sort of idea, I'm just going to have 2 notes. So it's not going to be a full major triad, it's going to be 2 notes. So the pulse of this whole idea goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So you get this. So that sort of 2 groups of 3 and a 2 is going to carry throughout the whole thing. So if I go back to here, I'm going to do that whole 3, 3, 2 idea 2 times in a row. I'm going to carry that over 1 fret to another major triad. This is going to go 10, 7 on the first, and then 8 of the second string, exactly the same as what we had before, just up a fret, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. For another whole bar. Now this one, this is it's an E major arpeggio. I'm pulling off from 12 to 7, so it's a bit of a doozy on the old mitten. Pulling off from there, and then playing 9 of the second string. We're going to do the 3, 3, 2 idea again. Across the whole bar, we're going to do that idea twice. Hopefully that's making sense. And then the last one's back to that cheeky triad shape that we saw at the start. Nice and simple and predictable. I'm playing 12, 9 on the first and 10 of the second. And I've got the 3, 3, 2 idea 2 times in a row. And from that last pull off, we eventually need to get back to, there's kind of a callback to the riff we had in section 1, but now we've modulated to sort of an F sharp key, a full tone up from where we were. So we do need to get a bit of a slide transition to be aware that we're about to jump back here again. So let's have a look at these 4 arpeggios back to back, and then we'll deal with that last little riff. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to borrow the phrasing that we had from the first section. We're going to chuck that here. I'm going to be playing from 4 of the 4th string into 4 of the 3rd. And we're going to have this little lick played exactly the same. So I'm going from the 4 of the 4th to 4 of the 3rd. And all the hammer-ons and pull-offs are exactly the same. I'm playing 5 of the 3rd string. And then the hammer-on pull-off going 4, 5, 4. And then I roll that back up to 4 of the 4th string. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm playing 5 of the 4th, jumping to 4 of the 3rd, back up again, and then that little hammer-on pull-off idea is exactly the same. Then I go into this phrase. Very, very similar. So what I'm doing here is playing 6 of the 4th, and then I'm going to play 4, 6, 7, and then slide into 9. When I get to that 9, I'm going to hit it 2 more times. So we're going to slide into 9th fret of the 3rd and hit it 2 more times to sort of give us 3 9s altogether. At the end of that, I'm going to play from 7 to 6 on the 4th string, and then I've got some chromatic power chords again, but this time I'm starting from the 5th fret. So I'm going to play 5, 4, 3, and then 3, 2, 1. And that's going to be the whole solo. So let's try and go from that weird little riff, and then we'll go back to the arpeggios and put it all together. All right, right back to the start. One more time with some tabs. And that was the delightfully amazing solo from The Shortest Straw by Metallica. Hope you guys have enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And please click the links in the description box to my Facebook fan page and my Patreon, and a variety of other things like my Udemy courses and my book, which is for sale. Ta-da! Ultimate Shred Machine. Here we are again talking about my book. Covers shredding, legato, sweeping, tapping, all of the fun stuff that you need to play guitar solos, over 100 exercises, heaps of cool stuff. Check the links in the description for that bad boy. Also a Udemy course. is available for that too if you're not that much of a reader. Anyway, hope you guys dug the lesson. I'll catch you guys all for some more shredding and solos very soon. Take care.